Good morning. It is Monday, July 28th, and I'm coming at you with a new hairdo. Da-da! I got it pulled back because I'm cooking. And I thought, hey, I haven't done a cooking video for a long time. So I am making homemade tortillas. Last night I made homemade refried beans. I soaked the beans all day because after you wash them, make sure there's no stones in them. You want to soak them and they cook a lot faster. Threw that all together, and that's in the refrigerator now. And now I'm waiting to finish up the tortillas. I didn't start from the very beginning to show you because it's just flour. I didn't have any lard, which kind of creeps me out to use it, but that's what it calls for. But I used butter instead. And it's just flour and butter and water. And one of the recipes called for baking soda. And I said, well, what the heck? I just bought some, or baking powder, I'm sorry. And I just bought a new one, and I usually throw them out because I never get through them before they expire, and I let them expire for years. And so I just mixed all that together and with a pastry mixer, and it just kind of made like a dough, a slightly dry dough. And now I just pull off a small ball, roll it up, and put it into the between two pieces of parchment paper and roll that out, and then throw it in the frying pan and flip it a couple times, and voila. So I'm going to skip through all the mixing, and I'm going to let you watch me do part of the process. So hold tight. Be right back. Okay, so I have my dough, and basically you just pull a piece off, probably about a little bit bigger than that. So I have one here, and my parchment paper. And I also have a little bit of flour because you don't want anything to stick. And I'm just going to squish that down a little bit, throw some flour on there. Okay, and then cover it. Still doing all my filming with one hand, sorry, but don't have the equipment yet. Roll it out. You turn it in two directions. You want to get it as round as possible. It doesn't really matter because you're not selling them in the store, but everybody's so used to round. Then you flip it. Okay, you do this with any dough. You roll both sides. That way you get the elastic to really spread out evenly. And you don't want to do it too thin because you'll get holes in it, but you don't want it too thick because you're not making biscuits, you're making tortillas. Okay. So you also start in the middle and you push out. Don't push too far on the ends because they'll be too thin. You want them to be even, and put the pressure on from the middle, bring it out. When you get to the end, release the pressure. Okay, and there we have. I just put a little bit of flour on here, make it easier to handle. And then I flip it to the other sheet. So make sure it's going to come off. There we go. Okay. Now, let's go check our pan and see how hot it is. It's getting there. So here's one that I made earlier. So I'm picking it up, bringing it over to the pan, and throw it in, and then before it starts to cook, make sure I get my folds pulled out from underneath there. Okay. Open up, come on. I did that. I just dropped it too fast. That doesn't always happen, but if it does, just pull them out. Okay, so there's enough butter in here. You don't have to grease your pan. Don't grease your pan. I actually overheated this pan this morning, so now I'm going to have to put some bacon in it and re-season it, which is how you re-season a good cast iron pan. And I'm a cast iron fan collector. I have, I don't know, 9, ranging from Barney, which I can't even lift without 2 hands, to a little tiny guy. Okay, so as you're cooking, it's going to be nice and dry, so it's easy to flip. Once you feel that it's dryish, you want to flip it over. You're going to do it a couple times. That's a little thick there. And then turn the heat up a little bit more, but you want medium heat. You don't want it super, super hot because you want it to cook through. You know, when you are cooking a store-bought tortilla, It's already gone through this process, so it's partially cooked. I mean, it's pretty much all the way cooked. You just heat it up and soften it. But you want to slowly get that flour cooked before you let it brown and have it looking like this. So while that's cooking, I thought, why not start the next one? So basically, that's your process. You know, you're going to pay real close attention to your pan, but you're also going to keep the assembly line going. I'll just roll this out. And I like to make them different sizes because, I mean, when you go to the store, you can buy a couple different sizes of tortillas. Typically, they're either ginormous, or they're standard, or they're tiny for like fajitas and things like, or whatever you make with the tiny ones. I don't buy them because I figured that means I'm going to have to eat a whole bunch of them to be satisfied, and then I'm probably going to get fat. So I'd rather just make one good size one and call her done. Okay, let's go back to the pan. How we doing here, folks? Okay, the pan was not as hot because I had turned it off so that I could just clear the phone so I can make my video. Now that's the color that we want. I'm going to say this, that the pan needs to be hot enough. Like I said, I had turned it off, so I really kind of rushed it. I should have waited till the pan was hot. You don't want to cook it so long that it turns into a biscuit, because even if it's thin, the longer it's cooking, you know, that flour is going to harden, and then the thickness. This one's a little thicker. This one here, you see it's bendable, flexible. This one, I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't put my hand in there all the time. Let's see. Okay, so it's done. So I'm going to take that out. Okay, let's go get another one. So while that was cooking, I rolled this one out. And we're going to take this over and drop it in a hot pan this time. It'll be a little different. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm seeing is this one turned out better. When they bubble up, that means that you almost have the perfect consistency. And if you look closely, we have some beautiful, huge bubbles. So that one worked out really well. And using butter apparently was just fine, and probably better. Time to flip it. There we go. That's beautiful. Now, because that's thin and it's hot, we are not going to leave that on there for more than about a minute. If you look carefully, you'll see a wonderful little balloon developing here. That means that you got everything balanced. I use a scale. I don't measure with teaspoons, cups any longer. I used to, but the scale is so much more accurate. So this is the food scale I bought. I have a different one than my daughter. And I don't know the brand because it's really not even on there. So here it is. And you have different units. You have grams, pounds, fluid ounces, kilograms, pounds, millimeters, milligrams. Okay, let's get this out of here. I'm going to turn it off because I'm done for now. I don't need to make any more. And look at that. Nice. Take that out. See the flexibility? That one turned out really nice. Okay. So there we have it. Homemade tortillas. We have homemade tortillas here. We have some refried beans that I made last night in the fridge. And that's what I'm having for lunch. If you like the recipe, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to share. Bye for now.